No country has a finer reputation for quality, hard-cooked mountain cheeses than Switzerland. This tiny nation has been making cheese for hundreds of years and exporting it to its neighbours. But what makes the industry really interesting today is that most of it is still made the traditional way from raw milk. Switzerland is renowned for its industrious people, picturesque scenery, and fine quality goods and services. Whether it's precision watches, army knives or chocolates, Swiss quality is unsurpassed, and this small nation's traditional mountain cheeses are no exception. The most well-known Swiss cheese export is Emmenthaler, and others include Le Gruyere, Tête de Moine, Raclette, Sprinz, Appenzeller and Tilsit, which are all closely controlled by regional syndicates. You don't find individual brands here, but there are dozens of other rare regional specialities made in chalet dairies high in the Alps. This is a nation with few natural resources and a difficult climate, and cheese has been an important trading commodity for centuries. The beautiful green mountain pastures are home to three principal types of dairy cow: the Swiss brown, the Simmental, and the red Holstein. Most of the cheeses made here are large, hard-cooked varieties designed for long storage. These evolved as a practical necessity because most of this country is covered in thick snow during the long winter months, and cheese was made traditionally for only half the year. This is the Emmental, which in Swiss German translates to the valley of the River Emme. Cheese has been made here since the 13th century, and the valley lends itself to the name of one of Switzerland's most famous and largest cheeses. It's called Emmenthaler. Emmenthaler is the largest cheese on the planet and regarded as the king of all Swiss cheese. A younger cousin of Le Gruyere, this enormous flying saucer-shaped cheese can weigh up to 100 kilos, and its trademark holes were originally developed in the 18th century. It's so popular now that more than 600 farms supply milk to over 250 small dairies. To see the king being created, I've come to visit the world champion Emmenthaler producer, and my guide is a young Swiss cheesemaker. Emmenthaler is made from the milk of Simmental and Holstein cows. After the curds have coagulated, they are cut and cooked to 53 degrees. The steaming curds are then drained into giant hoops. It's a spectacular show. Each wheel is numbered so it can be traced back to the dairy where it was born. The giant cheeses are then pressed to squeeze out the maximum amount of moisture.
Got the weight of 450 kilos to start with, and it increases slowly to 1,900 kilos per cheese.
When it stays like that?
Yeah.
After it has been pressed flat, the cheese is submerged in a salt bath for 48 hours. One of the things that makes this cheese unusual is the way its shape and texture dramatically change during the maturation process. Then the giant wheels are transferred to a warm maturation room, ready for an extraordinary transformation. And this room is where the magic really happens. It's very hot in here, and over the next 2 months, these cheeses will slowly sweat oil on the outside. They'll also change shape, because inside the bacteria are slowly forming large holes. The holes, of course, are what makes Swiss cheese famous. Once the cheeses have established their new shape and distinguishing holes, they're transferred to a cooler environment. After 4 to 5 months, most Emmenthaler are considered ready to sell, and I asked Christian to select one for us to taste.
Fantastic. Zwischen einfach ein bisschen das grosse Loch da.
Some of the holes are too big.
Da im Prinzip ein bisschen zu klein. Das ist
Some of the
klein,
holes
oder?
are
Du siehst einfach
a
so
bit too
ungefähr
small, some of them are-
Hirschgrösse.
Yeah.
Hirsch.
So they should be around the size of a cherry.
Okay.
That would be perfect. So some of them are a bit too big, some of them are a bit too
Not
small.
World Championship stuff.
So it's not a... It's
Ja,
not, das ist jetzt nicht Weltmeisterkäse.
Ah,
Man muss den Käse schon in
But
das Loch
the
nicht.
cheese is good, but the holes could be like
bit smaller, bit cherry
bit
size.
smaller, yeah.
Can we have a taste?
Probieren wir ein bisschen.
The best Emmenthaler has evenly spaced holes about the size of cherries and is matured for at least 12 months. The delicious sweet nutty flavour is quite different to younger Emmenthal.
Das Loch.
It's got a lovely sweet smell, eh? Despite its export reputation, Emmenthaler is not the most popular cheese in Switzerland. That prestigious title belongs to another variety.
Ja, das ist im Prinzip Flüssigkeit.
You know, I reckon that Switzerland's probably the home of raw milk cheese. What do you think?
Yeah, you're probably right. I think it's based on tradition because in the past most of the cheese was produced in little alpine huts, and the people working in those little cheese factories didn't have the chance to pasteurize the milk, so all they could actually do was using raw milk and producing raw milk cheese.
And then, of course, the cooking process to keep it for longer.
Yeah, because I mean, the harder the cheese, the longer you can keep it. And those people, they usually went up to the Alps in summer, produced cheese from the cow's raw milk, and then at the end of summer, in September or October, they basically packed all the cheese and went down to the valley and sold the cheese in the valley.
Do people still do that?
Yeah, they still do that today, but it has become more of a... It's not big business, it's basically just they do it as a passion. So they get some cows from the farmers, they walk basically up to the Alps, and they bring back the cows after that period and bring back some cheese for the owners of the cows, and that's very common in the alpine areas of Switzerland.
The recipe for this great-looking cheese dates back to the 12th century and is said to be the forebear of Italy's famous Parmesan. It used to be called William Tell cheese, but today goes by the name of Sprints. I'm pleased to say it's enjoying a bit of a revival. Sprints is legendary, and the Swiss proudly claim that they originally taught the cheesemakers of northern Italy how to make this type of grana cheese. Whatever the truth of that story, Sprints is made only in central Switzerland using the milk of brown Swiss cows.
The history of Sprints is beginning in 2200, 2250, and is coming from the heart of Switzerland here in Lucerne.
It takes 500 litres of milk to make one wheel of this wonderful cheese, which can be matured for 3 to 4 years, making it one of the longest maturing cheeses in the world. And when compared to its cousin Parmesan, Sprints is made in smaller wheels, generally matures for a longer period, has less salt and a higher fat content.
In this house here we have 65,000 cheese. It's between 2,000 2,200 tons. And the cheese comes here with 2-3 months when the cheesery here, and she comes here between 24 months, and then is for sale. The taste is very good. It's a hard, extra hard cheese with very good flour in tasting. The different to Parmesan, the Parmesan is salted and here you find the flours. And I think for all peoples it's very good to apéro and from dessert, and you taste a very good wine with this cheese. This is very good.
Sprinz is one of the most cherished of all the traditional cheeses of Switzerland. But when it comes to export, there's another Swiss cheese that is far better known. The most popular cheese in Switzerland is Le Gruyere, which takes its name from this lovely old city. Today, it's become a bit of a tourist trap, and you can buy Gruyere anywhere around the world. But one thing I've discovered is the Swiss come here for another reason, a very special double cream. Here, the luscious cream is served in a wooden bowl and spooned over plump, fresh raspberries. And believe me, it's a delectable combination. Gruyere boasts a lovely old castle, which now serves as a museum and popular tourist attraction. The elegant crane at the centre of the castle's coat of arms dates back to a gamekeeper who inherited the title in the 11th century. And over the following 400 years, a succession of 19 counts have lived here. Le Gruyere cheese is made only from raw milk collected exclusively from pastured or hay-fed cows. I've found the most interesting examples, if you're lucky enough to find them, are made in summer, high in the Alps of Fribourg, and they're only sold after 12 months of ripening. These large wheels of Gruyere are made in most parts of French-speaking Switzerland, but in the far northwest of the country, they make a very special baby cheese. This is it. Its name is Tête de Moine, or Head of the Monk, and traditionally it was only eaten at Christmas and Easter. Often referred to as the baby brother of Gruyere, this small cylindrical semi-hard cheese was originally created by the monks of Bellelay Abbey and was known as Fromage Bellelay. Apart from its size, Tête de Moine shares a very similar production process to Gruyere. The unusual name was apparently coined in 1790 and refers to the resemblance between this cheese with the top cut off and the shaved head of a monk. The Bellelay region was also once the centre of the salt trade between France and Switzerland, and a legacy of those times is the dozens of horse studs that now dominate the landscape near the abbey.
The abbey has got a history of more than 800 years. The monks came from France and they have beginning of the production of agriculture production here in this area. In all the times it was only wood here, and they have beginning to have agriculture here. And with the development of the agriculture, we had a milk production, and the monks have tried to conserve the milk. And to conserve the milk in the winter time, they have produced cheese. And we know that the first time that wood produced cheese in this area was in the 12th hundred.
Tête de Moine is made by 8 small dairies and has become the fastest growing traditional cheese in Switzerland, due largely to an unusual cutting device called a girole. This brilliant invention is used to shave the top of the cheese into rosettes, and since its launch in 1981, over 3 million units have been sold, increasing sales of the cheese tenfold. Production begins with fresh milk being brought to the dairy by local farmers twice a day. A Under AOC regulations, Tête de Moine must be made from raw milk that's less than 24 hours old. It takes 10 litres of milk to make each small cheese, which must be matured for a minimum of 75 days before sale. The clever method of shaving the top into wafer-thin rosettes enables the full flavour to be appreciated. This cheese is called raclette and it's made all over the world. But if you want the real thing, you have to come here to Le Valais in Switzerland. In this part of Switzerland, they still make cheese the traditional way from raw milk, and it forms a very important role in the local cuisine. Raclette was originally enjoyed in front of an open fire by cowherders working high in the mountains, and the name stems from the French word racler, meaning to scrape. These days it's a popular shared dish between friends, with the cheese heated under a specially designed electric grill. When it's hot and melting, it's scraped onto a plate, ready to eat. This is a great way to enjoy this cheese, and with some traditional Swiss music and the odd glass of wine, it's an experience I'll never forget. I've come to La Ferme à Gaby, a typical mountain dairy that still makes raclette the old-fashioned way. Production begins with rich alpine cow's milk, and after starters and rennet have been added, the milk is heated slowly in a huge copper vat over an open wood fire. Once the curds have coagulated, they're carefully cut. The cheesemaker then stirs the fragile curds before moving the huge pot back over the flames. As the temperature in the pot rises, the mixture inside is vigorously stirred to ensure the curds contract and release their moisture. They are then skillfully removed using a large piece of cheesecloth and a thin strip of metal, and placed into hoops to drain overnight. It looks like fun, but after having a go myself, I should warn you, it shouldn't be attempted without proper supervision.
My dentist would have something to say about that.
Okay, thank you.
Young raclette cheeses spend several days in a brine bath to encourage a rind to form. They are then matured for up to 6 months and regularly washed with brine to remove any unwanted moulds that might alter the flavour. Switzerland has 5 major maturation companies that ripen cheese after they leave the dairy, and I've come to visit one of the finest, Lustenberger Durst. Richard, explain to me the role of the large companies in maturation.
Now, the local dairy produces the cheese
up and keeps it there for about 2 months. After that period, it comes to our place, and it's a central affinage. So this means that the product of different, in this case here, of 50 producers is gathered.
50 producers here?
Yeah. That's right.
And when you've selected the cheeses, what happens then? You keep them here for how long?
We turn the whole inventory here about 3 to 4 times a year. This means that the cheese stays here another 3 to 4 months. So the average age when it is sold to our customer is about 5 to 6 months old.
So your company, why is it different from the others?
I think Lustenberger Durst, of course, has a tradition. It's a commitment. It's a lot of emotion and passion in what we are doing. And I think this is a key point when also doing our job for the selection, aging, and also developing new presentations, how we offer the product in the market. So I think the dedication is really the big importance.
Judging from what I've seen, one thing is certain. The Swiss won't compromise on quality. By combining traditional cheese-making techniques and strict dairy standards, they consistently produce the finest range of mountain cheeses in the world.
Gratulieren. Im zweiten Rang haben wir Madonna, eine recht große Saison.